Hello, everybody. It is September 21, 2024. Another night. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. How are you? Hope you're all doing just wonderfully, decently. For those who are not, I'm very sorry. I don't know what to say, but I know that there are many of you who are struggling. Very sorry. Alicia DeMoss and Tony Punch, Angelos, GeoFactor 3. Hello, Sandra. Hello. Oh, Sandra. Okay. I don't check PayPal regularly. In fact, I actually forget to check it. So thank you very, very much for your donation. Much appreciated. Believe me, because it's much needed. Yeah. Andrew Cruz, Miss Blanche, Joni, hello, Jane Northrup, Shauna Howard, Barb in Ohio, Ain't Buying It, Analog Synth Player, Julie, hello, Oracle 11, Hypocrites Matrix, hi, Grumpy Troll, haven't seen you in a while, Grumpy. All right, so we're going to get right to it, but I'll share the screen. Of course, you should be able to get right to it with me. Right. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all of these. Yeah, nanobot activation. Look at this whole line right here, Nebraska through Ohio. It's unbelievable. Well, it's believable to me. You've got the frequency shot, but look at this. Really? Okay. Magically, does it appear as thunderstorms, supercells, line of nanobots? This is not looking good in Illinois, into Indiana and Kentucky. Up here in Wisconsin, what are we looking at here? We're a deep dive of this blob of precipitation. It's up here and woof, does it move on fast. When I see how fast these weather fronts are operating, that leads me to believe that it might be windy, southern Wisconsin. New York, western New York into Pennsylvania and Virginia. Quite a lot of thunderstorms. And this does not look good here in Kentucky, and it's moving in a very bizarre fashion. Look at it. And of course, it's spawning what we are to believe is rain. It's not rain. It's cloud. It's making its cloud. Now down here in southern Missouri, that doesn't look good. When you see these supercells, think thunder, lightning, hail, tornadic activity, whole lot of wind, a whole lot of damage. Kansas, Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas. This is not looking good. Neither do we have the southeast corner of New Mexico. And, of course, all in a line. Extremely low frequencies blasting away in Southern California, as they usually do. And yeah, I showed this last night on the live, and I showed how they were moving in from the Atlantic. And I said, probably trying to pick up more humidity, more water vapor, but they were holding this storm right off the coast. This is the same blob that they had last night. Yeah. 24 hours. No problem. Mother Nature decides to stay a while. But this is really, well, you're not going to hear the truth from mainstream media. That is for sure. We know that. And wow, this is the clearest I have seen it in Florida. And you still have the nanobots, but I haven't seen, well, a little bit of what appears to be rain. But yeah, this is the clearest that I've seen in Florida for a very, very long time. So, any tornado warnings? Yes, indeed. Texas, Castro. Wow. Okay. And let's look at severe weather. Wow. Kansas, Missouri, New Mexico, New York, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Severe weather in a whole lot of places. Well, Virginia, your counties, Campbell and Charlotte, located over Red House. New Mexico, counties, Eddy and Leah. Kansas, Shawnee and Wabaunsee. Texas, Castro, Hale. You might be getting Hale. Lamb, Parma, and Swisher. New Mexico, Eddy and Leah. And also Gaines, Texas. Missouri, Kristen, Stone. Texas, Reeves, Ward, Winkler. Pennsylvania, Potter. My God. Kansas, Geary, Lyon, Morris. New Mexico, Rio, Arriba, and Taos. Pennsylvania, also Tioga. Texas, also Randall. And Virginia, Appomattox, Appomattox, Campbell, Charlotte, Halifax, Pittsylvania. Wow, Pittsylvania. New Mexico. Okay, the same counties. Texas, you have more counties. Bailey, Cochran, Hokley. New York, Allegheny. Texas, also Bailey. Palmer, Castro. Okay, Wisconsin, Grant County. Texas, Reeves, and Ward. A lot. If you're anywhere in those areas or close to them, pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to the weather. And I'd like to say that for those of you who come across any weather reports that are local, Could you please pass them along? Because when I see things like what happened in North Carolina, I have to wonder how much is going on with the weather that we don't know. Okay. Dumbest thing, one said. The dog thinks you're good is because you take him out for a walk and pick up his shit and take him to the dentist. Such bullshit. Ah, people, man. What would we do without them? I'll also post a link to Radar. And people say I'm miserable. Come on. So I don't actually have much, but here, Japan got hit and has been getting hit, and in the same area got hit months ago. Now it's gotten hit again. The devastation from weather warfare is very real. And boy, the scale of it is very intense.
Imagine a place already shaken to its core by the Earth's fury, a deadly earthquake that left cities in ruins, families broken, and entire communities struggling to rebuild. Now, picture those same streets, still scarred from the devastation, suddenly submerged underwater. A new disaster strikes, relentless and unyielding. Torrential rains, rivers bursting their banks, and landslides blocking every hope of escape. It's as if nature is refusing to let go, a haunting reminder of how fragile life can be when faced with unstoppable forces. Welcome to northern Japan's Ishikawa region, where the unimaginable has become reality again. Buildings and tearing up roads. The loss was immense, with at least 236 lives claimed, leaving survivors with the Herculean task of rebuilding. But as if the earthquake's devastation wasn't enough, just months later, Ishikawa has been hit again. This time by nature's other extreme, water. Torrential rain. On Saturday, a grim announcement came: one person dead and 7 others missing after relentless rainfall pounded the region.
Nature. That's just what nature does. Right? Even the Japanese should be mindful of the weather modification, considering that their neighbor China, has a massive weather modification program that they unleash, not just in China, but other countries as well. thousands evacuated in Italy. Hurricane Boris or Cyclone Boris or Storm Boris. The devastation continues.
Rescue operations continue following severe flooding. Stranded on their rooftops, this family is finally lifted to safety in northern Italy. Storm Boris has now reached Hungary. Water levels continue to rise in the last 24 hours by over a meter. Roads, trains and ferries along the river have been shut, causing alarm and panic from local residents.
There will be bigger floods, as this is now nature taking over, which mankind has kicked upside down. It is largely too late.
Storm Boris has caused up to 5 times the average September rainfall in parts of Austria, Czechia, Hungary, Poland, Romania and Slovakia in just 4 days. Entire neighborhoods have been submerged and hundreds of thousands of people forced to evacuate. The EU has announced an emergency plan.
Extraordinary times need extraordinary measures. At first sight, 10 billion euros are possible to mobilize from the cohesion funds for the countries that are affected.
If we wait for EU flood aid, we'll be up to our necks in water, says the Hungarian PM, who has his country taking matters into their own hands. Under instruction, these volunteers have put up makeshift flood defences in Budapest.
I can comfortably say that the country is safe despite the seriousness of the situation. We are not suffering from a lack of equipment or manpower. In fact, thanks to our volunteers, we can keep the water contained.
The climate crisis is causing torrential amounts of extreme rainfall.
I'm sorry, but oh God, I can't stand these lies. Just persist, persist, persist. And, I've said it for years. I'll say it again. If it was climate change, these kinds of events would come about gradually. Now we're seeing them all over the world, just happening. They're all happening, by the way, exactly the same, with the same kind of destructive force that you would think might come from a military. Oh, here, Wall Street, not Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Scientists have captured Earth's climate over the last 485 million years. Really? You think? You think they can capture the Earth's climate 500 million years? That in itself is questionable. Should be questioned. Should beg questions. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's bullshit. Okay, but here's the surprising place we stand now. Now, how many headlines have we read where it says hottest record, hottest year on record? And in many countries, over and over again, hottest year on record. Oh my God, it's getting so hot. What are we going to do? We're just going to boil up. There are less people in the world. And that, and well, in countries like the United States, manufacturing is pretty much shot. So they talk about all of the CO2, which we need more of because plants love CO2. Life loves CO2. We need more CO2. Plants love it because they just flourish and grow and grow and grow. Trees love it. But no, we've got to do, Get it down to zero. Oh my God, all the people who just believe in this lie, you know that they have done no research themselves. Okay. You want to see where we are now? 500 million years later, not so hot. Apparently in 390, wow, it was hot. Oh my God, this is insane. It is truly insane. It's truly insane that nobody is questioning this massive hoax. Yes, temperature is going down. But don't believe the Washington Post? Okay. Jamie of A Plain Truth died. Jamie is no longer with us. Yeah, so, okay. But hey, did the Washington Post not realize what it was doing? Okay. Why are yachts bursting into flames? Another yacht goes up. Apparently, this yacht had a lot of fireworks on it, and it just went berserk.
Cleanup effort is ongoing this morning after this large yacht caught fire in Marina del Rey.
Neighbors heard loud explosions coming from the boat as it burned. ABC4's Lauren Coronado is in Marina del Rey as more resources are starting to show up. Lauren.
Adrian, Robin, good morning. A big cleanup operation underway right now. I just talked with some of the environmental hazard crews about what the project looks like. They said it's going to take the next few hours at least. It could even take days. They're going to assess how bad the damage is.
A lot of boats are going up in flames. And boy, the scammers are out. They're out of the closet and they are scamming all over the place in so many different industries. But here, South Florida man says he almost became a victim of AI real estate fraud.
New at 10, artificial intelligence is now being used to commit real estate fraud here in South Florida.
Almost cost one local man his savings. Night Team's Heather Walker has Tonight 7 investigates.
UD Levy decided at 19 years of age he wanted to invest in real estate.
I've been looking for a while now for an investment, kind of to put my money towards, maybe to develop in the future. And my dad came to me with this land.
The land was this vacant lot in a neighborhood off of Dixie Highway in Hollandale Beach. His dad is a real estate broker. He learned about the property when someone reached out wanting to sell it.
Saying, I would love you to sell my property. I said, that's fine, let's get on a call. She said, I'm deaf, I can't hear, I have an issue, a problem, let's text. I said, okay.
He asked for 2 forms of identification to prove she was indeed the owner. When he looked up the property records, the IDs matched.
Matches the address, matches the passport.
He agreed to sell the land, listing it for $60,000.
We offered them cash, $52,000, and they accepted it.
So you thought you were winning?
Exactly.
The buyer said she lived out of state, so Florida Title and Trust, which was handling the closing, required a Zoom call to see the owner and make sure she wanted to sell.
Just having a normal closing. Somebody wanted to buy a piece of land and we're here to make it happen.
Hello? At first, the Zoom was going fine, but then something seemed off.
That's a video, no?
Lauren says the woman on the call looked like the pictures on the license and passport, but she wasn't acting normally.
Margaret?
They tried different commands.
If you can hear us, can you raise your right hand, please?
Lauren says they quickly realized it was an AI-generated image.
I caught it, but that doesn't stop them from going to another realtor or another title company and trying it with somebody else.
Both Miami-Dade PD and Broward County Sheriff's Office tell us this is the first time they've seen AI used in this type of fraud, but it won't be the last. It's a good warning to property owners.
What a fabulous world that is being created, right? Scammers. Springfield, Ohio. The fake funeral scammers. Not just in Ohio, but I have shown on live how they are scamming people. They're out there. I think the first one was Arizona, but here, look.
Hello. What we got going on here? Funeral for who? No, what's the boy's name?
Philip Hector.
I'm sorry?
Philip Hector.
Where?
Philip Hector. Philip Hector.
How did he die? How did he die? No, you're out here. You guys got people out here. I'm just wondering, how did he die?
The photo.
Photo what?
The photo.
How did he die? Oh, hold on a second. You're out here asking for money for a funeral?
He's dead. No.
What's his name? How did he die? How did he die? When's his funeral? When's his funeral? I see you guys asking for money. When's his funeral? What's going on? When's his funeral? When's the funeral? Are you guys committing fraud or scamming? Hey, whose funeral? Hello? Hola. Hold on. What's the kid's name? Oh, so what happened? What happened? How did he die? How did he die? How did he die? Whoa, what's going on here? When's his funeral? You're saying for funeral. When's his funeral? When's this funeral? When? Where's his funeral at? When is his funeral? Where's his funeral? I know you guys have been asking for money and holding up signs about a boy that died, but when's his funeral? Okay, yes, I'd like to help. So what's going on? What's going on? Media. Why are you hostile? Why are you getting mad? Why mad? Why mad? Why mad? Call the police. 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 Like they're saying money for a funeral. Where's the funeral? What happened? How did he die? What's going on?
If anybody is holding up a postcard at an intersection where you're driving and it's for donations for a funeral for someone, I just drive on. The HOA madness, the condominium madness. People who live in HOAs and condominiums, especially in Florida, are finding themselves in a very tight spot where they cannot afford the $100,000. Okay, it continues.
Can you imagine getting a letter in the mail and all of a sudden finding out from your HOA that you now owe $100,000?
Sticker shock for homeowners in a Pinellas County HOA. They are told they may have to pay up to tens of thousands of dollars to help fund their reserves.
Not only do you owe $100,000, you only have 6 months to give them that money.
The total assessment for the apartment we're sitting in is what?
Approximately $224,000.
When you say that number, can you believe it?
No.
This is happening to tons of people across the United States that live in HOAs. And it's not people just living in condo associations. They're happening in traditional homeowners associations as well.
It's very difficult when your dues go up 20%, 40%, 60% in 3 years, and everything still looks the same. And the roofs still need to be fixed, and the sidewalks still need to be done, and the landscaping's just not right.
But if you're looking for a brand new house in 2024, I can tell you this right now. Most likely, if it's brand new, it's going to be in an HOA. So today we're going to be talking about ways that you can either disband your.
Okay, so if any of you are in an HOA and you're facing a whole lot of assessment fees, in particular, the link is in the chat. This is outrageous. You know, it's not just government stealing Americans' money. It's ordinary Americans just trying everything they can to steal as much money as they can. Private equities, ruthless takeover of the last affordable housing in America. So I am going to drop the link in. I don't know this channel, so I'm just going to play like the first minute. And yeah, do you know how many people are losing their homes?
I worked my whole life, and this is what it comes down to? Some greedy person wanting his big chunk out of what little bit I had.
How much longer can you afford to live in your home?
1 month. I don't know what I'm going to do. Hope that I don't wake up tomorrow. That's crossed my mind.
Okay, we've got a big problem, very, very big problem. And that's these private equity firms that are scooping up the mobile home areas where people live and stealing them. You know, they purchase them, and then their fees for the land that their mobile home is on skyrocket, and a whole lot of people are really facing a very difficult time, to say the least. Orlando family evicted from affordable housing complex despite overpaying. Does anybody have a conscience in our country?
Developing at 6 now, a mom and her children evicted from their Orlando apartment, not because she didn't pay her rent, she actually overpaid.
She claims the eviction is retaliation, and she contacted News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval to help get results.
How long have you lived here?
I have lived here since December 19, 2019.
What drew you here?
Affordable housing. It was something that I can afford.
When Coco King and her family moved into Paramore Oaks in Orlando, her rent was based on how much money she made at work. Her starting rent for her 3-bedroom apartment in 2019 was $875, and it steadily rose over the next 5 years to $975, just over $1,000. And her latest rent increase would have put her monthly rent at just over $1,200. She says her income, though, actually went down during that time.
Rates in this neighborhood was no more than $750 a month.
News 6 was there in October when King took her frustrations to the city. She and a small group interrupted a news conference where Mayor Buddy Dyer was announcing a new addition to her apartment complex.
Why did you protest?
The reason why I protested because affordable housing. My whole protest was about affordable housing and gentrification that's coming to the community. Because as we continue to live here, they keep going up on our rents. So they make it unaffordable for us to live here, intentionally forcing us out. And
So it's not affordable.
It's not affordable.
That same week, Paramore Oaks denied her lease renewal. Her rent increased to more than $1,600 a month, And even though she kept paying her rent, she was eventually served with eviction papers.
This is outrageous. If you can make $16 an hour, I don't know what minimum wage is, but if you can make $16 an hour and your rent is $2,000, the math ain't mathing.
King says she is so certain that her eviction is wrong that she is taking her fight all the way to court. She has a hearing right now, and we're going to take you inside the courtroom.
We are here today with regards to the motion to determine rent that was filed in this matter.
And this is where King's attorney claimed Paramore Oaks retaliated against King for protesting.
During this time, which we feel during the retaliatory period, they increased her rent.
The final ruling,
The ongoing rent is $10.79. Because I have no documentation to support anything else.
King had actually overpaid her rent by $1,000, and she'll be able to stay in her apartment, at least for now.
She's been active in the community, and I think they've been trying to get rid of her for some time.
You do?
And they look like this is an excuse.
So you're paid up on your rent. What happens if they increase your rent come September? What does the future hold for you?
So what's going to happen is that I'll be another person that's displaced, homeless,
So you're
without
not-
a place to stay.
You're not going to be able to live there.
No, I would love to continue to stay there, but would they let me continue to stay there? No. The thing is to get us out.
Now, we contacted the parent company for Paramore Oaks to ask about King's rising rent. They didn't respond. Now, King is trying to find another place to live because the deadline for her affordable housing voucher has passed. And that means that if she's offered another lease here, she's likely not going to be able to afford it. And she fears she's not alone. In Orlando, Eric Sand.
One person might find victory the first stage, but then there's a second stage. We need everybody in this building to come together and fight along with her. Why is that so difficult for people? So the invasion continues. The treason continues. The human trafficking continues. And this is in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, dealing with essentially the same thing that Springfield, Ohio is dealing with. Oh, and a lot of other very small towns in the United States. None of these Haitians or illegal immigrants in their country said, oh, this sounds great. I want to go to Charleroi, Pennsylvania. I didn't know it existed until just recently because of all of these immigrants moving in.
Well, taken out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the nearby suburb of Charleroi,
That's right.
Yeah, residents are divided on where they stand with the influx of Haitian migrants.
And on one side are some business owners saying Haitian migrants there are filling jobs Americans do not want, helping the economy there. On the other side, local residents speaking out against it.
Host of American Agenda, Bob Brooks, is live in Charleroi. He has more. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Sean and Katie. Look, the reason I'm here, I grew up about 30 minutes down the road. I'm from this region. It's heartbreaking to see what has happened time and time again. Look, Charleroi right now is a microcosm of what is happening all across the Rust Belt, across the region. Factories are shutting down here, like the one behind me. I'm going to talk about that. And then you have migrants coming into small towns all across the Rust Belt just as well. For instance, here in Charleroi, 4,000 people. City officials say they've got about 2,500 Haitian Liberian migrants. And then the residents here, they feel like they're being forgotten. They're losing their jobs. Then they feel like they're losing their town on top of it. So a vicious cycle, one that continues here. So basically
Wait, didn't we hear at the beginning of this broadcast that they were saying these immigrants are working jobs that those in Charleroi don't want? Yeah, we did hear that. They just don't want those jobs, right? But now we're hearing that the immigrants are actually replacing those workers. Oh, there's so much going on. So much going on that's destroying people's lives. And you would think Americans would just band together, organize, think, how can we stop this?
What's happening? The plant behind me, Corel Brands, they make glass products. It's set to shut down, barring a miracle. Just before Labor Day, they had another plant shut down called Quality Pasta. Obviously, they're making pasta products there. They're going to lose anywhere from about 500 to 600 full-time paying jobs. That's going to destroy a small town like this. And I've seen this movie play out time and time again. 300 jobs here at this factory, 400, 100 at Quality Pasta. Then on top of it, the people here, they're dealing, Sean and Katie, with this migrant influx. And it just hasn't been easy on them to see. It hasn't been easy on the town. It hasn't been easy on anyone here that has lived here for decades. This was their home. Let's listen to what they have to say.
They shut this factory down. It's going to cripple this town and the Mon Valley.
I'm devastated because we own our house. We've lived here. We're family. We're going to lose everything down here. If this factory, I'm not saying in this town, I'm not. My child already lost 2 years of school. She's so far behind. She was supposed to go to Head Start, and they told her she couldn't go 2 weeks before school start because 20 immigrants came in and took her out of school. So we lost 2 years of school. So why would I want to stay in this town?
It's really sad what has happened to my hometown. I mean, it's hard for me to drive through here and just see what's left of it. And, you know, I've said before, this is beyond immigration. At this point, it feels like an invasion.
Yeah.
And she's quite right. It is an invasion. And by the way, George, Anglo-Saxon Christians have been replaced. That's the entire American population? Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, everybody's feeling it. ICE detains illegal migrant accused of raping a preteen in Nantucket, that island, that wealthy, quote unquote, elite island off the coast of Massachusetts, you know, where the Obamas reside. And I don't know how long ago, a couple of nights ago, ICE gets involved because it's Nantucket. So we've heard police officers say, there's nothing we can do. We can't call ICE. It's a sanctuary city. Massachusetts is a sanctuary state. But because it's Nantucket, all right, let's forget all about that. ICE, get this migrant off our island. Shouldn't that upset Americans? Huh. There's so much going on that should really upset Americans. 28-year-old illegal migrant from El Salvador, charged with 1 count of rape of a child, 10-year age difference, and 2 counts. Well, that's the law. So it was a preteen. How old? Oh, wait. This was another one. Sorry. This was another one. He was charged and allowed to walk free on bail. He was already charged with rape of a child and allowed to walk free. Okay. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time. Americans, you might want to do something, even the parents, to protect your children. Yeah, I don't know. For sure, Americans have enough information for them to have activated it's unbelievable. Nantucket. Nantucket, like much of Massachusetts, doesn't formally declare itself a sanctuary. Okay, it is Massachusetts. So they must have gotten some blowback from people who understand. Oh, so now ICE, and it's okay for Nantucket, but nowhere else. It's really like, oof, man, this country. It's been so easy to take it down. Border Patrol rescued drugged and trafficked children.
On August 29, 2024, at approximately 11:30 p.m., CBP officers assigned to the St. Luis, Arizona port of entry encountered a 28-year-old female U.S. citizen driving a Nissan sedan who presented U.S. birth certificates for 2 sleeping children in her vehicle. The woman stated to CBP officers that the children were family members. Unable to awaken the children, the primary officer referred the traveler to secondary for further inspection. In secondary, the woman had difficulty waking the children. Officers observed that the children remained extremely groggy. While interviewing the children, officers soon discovered there was no family relationship between the woman and the 2 minors, ages 11 and 8. The birth certificates, while legitimate, did not belong to the children. The minors were Mexican citizens and being smuggled into the United States. The children indicated to CBP officers that they were provided sleep aids in order to avoid detection. CBP officers detained the woman for alleged violation of U.S. law and seized the vehicle.
And there's national outrage about cats and dogs being eaten. Where's the outrage? How many hundreds of thousands of children gone missing coming across the border? Where's that outrage for the children? Is something amiss here? All right, I'm going to post a link. I don't know. I found it interesting, but I lived in Massachusetts for a long time. So this is Pete Santinello. Is that? Let's see. Santinello. Yes, the migrants all over.
Sorry for those looking for the wine and cheese tour. Didn't happen. So this is where you grew up?
Oh, yes, sir. Our nice little humble abode. Migrant hotel is actually right up over here.
So that's how you know?
That's how you know.
Every room's full or you have availabilities? No, it's all full. Get out of here.
$60,000 a month just on rental. Hey, how's it going? Can I get a room if you don't mind?
That's some sketchy driving. That's some asshole stuff.
I know, I know.
Jeez. What percentage is it migrants versus U.S. homeless?
Massachusetts is first richest state in New England.
Oh, this place is beautiful.
The way they're coming over and then we're paying for it, they have nicer cars than we do.
I think that's where the issue is when there's no transparency. Let's explain to the public what's going on exactly.
There's usually always something going on.
And that's what I've been hearing. The Haitians and a whole lot of these immigrants have nicer cars than a lot of Americans. Something up with where'd they get the money? We know. So
Every settled question.
this is okay. I wish there were easy answers. Well, the easy answer is that Americans really need to put their little insignificant differences down, unite on the fact that we are being destroyed, right? Okay. But to see how easy it was to literally shift this country that was somewhat sane to complete and utter moral insanity so quickly, and all of the adults who are fine with it, I really do want to think that it's got to be mind control, the use of the electromagnetic frequencies, controlling people's minds, because it's hard to grasp that these were the Americans that we just didn't see, but now they're so in our face, and how American adults can support this behavior, especially when children are exposed to this. Well, I also think that, we were not a very moral nation. Everybody was just going along, a whole lot of Americans had a very difficult time struggling, but, well, we had the largest middle class ever historically, right? The self-centeredness, and now it's kind of like we're showing our true face. That, yeah, it's the well-adjusted to a deeply disturbed society. We were never well as a people mentally. And now it's kind of like everybody's just do whatever the hell they want to do with no concern for other people, no concern for the children. Okay. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Should we have any standards at all? Or should the standards simply be anything goes? These are new questions. For most of American history, standards of acceptable behavior were generally agreed upon. Today, we can't even agree on the difference between men and women. Those on the progressive left seem dead set on unsettling just about every settled question, all in the name of being open-minded. But can your mind be so open that your brains fall out? Do we need to tolerate every crackpot view under the sun, no matter how harmful, no matter how false?
I guess so. Sent to me by a subscriber whom I'd like to thank. I'm going to play a few minutes of this, and I'll post the link. This is Craig. Houston talks to very hard to understand this mindset, and very hard, if you were sexually abused as a child, the effects that has had on you throughout your life, right? Very damaging effects. The normalization of pedophilia is so beyond anything that one could consider normal. Here it is.
Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is quite a disturbing video I came across on X this morning, which shows this lady, who is meant to be a sex therapist apparently, try and normalise paedophiles and paedophilia. I can't believe I just said that, but it's true. So it's just to give you a little taster of what this woman is put out in the ether. Here's her introduction.
.org. It's short for virtuous pedophiles. Not virtuous as in they're better than everyone because they're attracted to children, but virtuous like having moral standards and a sexual orientation that they have no control over, like the rest of us.
Right. So we've now got virtuous paedophiles, just people that are attracted to children. I'm going to play this one again because I'm struggling to actually comprehend what she just said.
.org. It's short for virtuous pedophiles. Not virtuous as in they're better than everyone because they're attracted to children, but virtuous like having moral standards and a sexual orientation that they have no control over, like the rest of us.
So what she's saying is these virtuous paedophiles have got standards. Are you kidding me on? You know, they're somehow different from other types of paedophiles. Now, let's just hear a wee bit more about what she's actually saying.
Before you get all worked up, I'm talking about pedophilia, not child molestation or rape. Pedophilia is the sexual attraction to children. It's a paraphilia. There's a link to more information about it in the description, videos I've made in the past explaining the kind of human diversity and development.
So she's trying to tell us that there's a big difference. They're trying to normalise this. This is actually frightening the life out of me. How? I understand there is a difference, right, between people who are attracted to children and people that might take the next step and actually physically or sexually abuse them. But neither are right. Neither are normal. And to try and suggest as much is quite frankly frightening. But she carries on.
Molestation and rape are different. These are abusive actions that often have nothing to do with attraction. Many child abusers are actually sexually attracted to adults, but they act out on children. Meaning you probably don't object to pedophiles because you're compassionate and rational, but you may loathe child molesters and rapists because they violate people. I personally try not to judge either.
I personally try not to judge either. What a virtuous woman you are. What a sick woman you are. Oh, sorry, I judged you. Okay. It is really remarkable how people can. What warped brain do you have to say what she is saying right now? She's a danger to all children. And, well, there's too many of these people, and they need to be judged harshly in real life, in their own communities, so that maybe they will, hey, take a second look at their viewpoint.
Meaning you probably don't
You
object to
probably don't object to pedophiles
and rational, but you may loathe
because you're rational. So you're rational, not hating pedophiles.
Child molesters and rapists because they violate people. I personally try not to judge either.
I personally try not to judge either. Wow. So who is this lady? Right. This is an interesting bit. This is a doctor. Dr. Lindsay Doe. Now, she has got a Wikipedia page, and it tells you she's about 42 or 43, because you don't know when she was born.
All right. You can click on the link and listen to the remainder of this video. But as I was checking this woman out, I was thinking, is she real? Is this a real human being? Well, soulless for sure. But I have to wonder now, if how many are walking among us that are actually robots? And yes, have they perfected robot humanoids? They have. So I don't know. But she's there promoting something that we all know is so wrong. And everyone should be outraged. Right? But this is how crazy a whole lot of Americans are. Violently crazy. Former Howard Stern show writer. Right here, this woman. Watch her. Watch her.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? How are you, Sarah? Hi. Different sentences that he.
Sarah, I'm sorry about this.
Don't talk. Don't fucking talk. Yes, Sarah, we're really sorry about this. I'm sending him your way today. So don't worry. But yeah, he's coming. Don't worry, he's coming home. Elisa.
She's just like almost broke my nose. She's gonna get it.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Fuck you, cunt. Next time you fucking touch me, I'll fucking kill you. You understand? You understand, cunt? Hey, no, Sarah, hang up. These idiots. She posted your fucking number in their cancer Discord. And I was just being polite. Yeah, touch me and I fucking deck your dumbass bitch. I'll fucking deck you.
Elisa. Yes.
As a woman,
The
I have a
dumb cunt,
medically
Sarah, the
fragile
dumb
child
retard
and
in
have
the
to have my
middle of the
phone on,
street section.
and you choose to leave my number from the chat.
No, she's a fucking insane person. She's a fucking
I was
50-year-old
dumb
cunt in the middle of the street dancing.
Yeah, Sarah, I heard you had a kid when you were 16. That's what he told me about you.
Yes,
And he said you're a dumb Mexican.
I said she's
And
a
he
dumb
said you
Mexican.
keep showing up. And he said you won't stop texting him. But I saw the text. It's the same shit. Yeah, what's up?
She's half your age. She's half your age.
Delete the number, please.
Pull over, dumb cunt. Pull over, dumb cunt.
No, please don't. I'll stop. Okay, I'll stop.
Pull over.
Okay,
Pull over, dumb cunt.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, call 911, Sarah. Call 911. Call 911.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please let me go. Please let me go. No, please, I'm so sorry. Please let me
Oh, you're sorry, right? Get the fuck out of here.
He's killing me. No!
Americans are not right. They're really, do you think this is just a one-off thing, right? No. No, it's not. So this is a Howard Stern show writer. And boy, that slap in the face or the punch, his nose after that was red for the entire video. What the hell is wrong with our behavior? Where did she learn all of this? As a child, set on a trajectory to behave just this way. Does she need to do some work on herself? Yeah. Yeah, she does. And kids on bicycles, a whole lot of them, right? 50 some odd juveniles ride their bikes to a 7-Eleven parking lot in Beverly Hills. Okay, and then start ransacking the 7-Eleven. When I see these crowds of kids, and whether they're on bikes or in cars or on feet, when there's a whole bunch of them, I do have to wonder if they're not being targeted with electromagnetic frequencies, which they can, those frequencies produce this kind of behavior. We've seen it time and time again. What's going on? Has parenting got this bad? Because it's always been really bad. But it hasn't gotten so bad that all of these young people all over the country, mobs of them, or individual, like teenagers, carjacking, killing people, stabbing people. So, this is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And yeah, everything's going to be under lock and key, whatever stores remain standing.
It has become a familiar scene at retail stores in recent years. Products locked in cabinets as a way to prevent theft. Shoppers have to call a clerk to get the product they want. Well, shoplifting has become so bad at one local store that they've put nearly all of the products under lock and key. KTLA's Omar Lewis in Compton with the details. Omar, good morning.
Yeah, Frank, good morning. You know, it's typical at stores like Walgreens, Walmart, or Target to see select aisles with items locked behind glass barricades. But at this store, just about every item is locked up behind a glass case. I want to show you the store, the Rite Aid here on Long Beach Boulevard, where every item from coffee to candy is under lock and key, leaving some customers frustrated that they now have to wait on staff to access these everyday items. We can show you inside the store this morning Retailers have long locked up high-value items like electronics, but now even everyday essentials like cereal or coffee, they are behind glass cases here. To buy something as small as a pack of crayons, customers now need to call a store employee to come unlock it. This drastic measure aimed at stopping a rise in shoplifting is becoming more common in major chain stores in this area, and it's also stopped some customers from shopping at brick and mortar stores. Instead, they're turning to those online delivery options that will ship right to your front door. Earlier than
I would never shop there. I think a lot of people would, forget it. I'm not going to do it. I went into one store and they had a product that I wanted locked up. I didn't buy it. I just left. I'm not going to be searching, for an employee of the store to come and unlock. But it was in Arizona. It was a Walmart, and then down the street from that, it was a neighborhood store, Walmart, the smaller. I think essentially they really just have food. About a mile and a half down, or maybe 2 miles, there was the big Walmart, and they didn't have anything locked up. Oh, okay. So nothing seems to be making any sense, but they let crime explode, and then they create, instead of cracking down on crime, no, major inconvenience for the customers, for the consumer. And it's all about just creating just a madness in our society that is going to explode even more so. And, the number of people who have been pushed onto the subway tracks in New York, you would think that they might put up some barrier to protect people, but no. And I've shown you videos of subways in South Korea and other Asian countries where they literally have like there's a barricade and nobody can get through to the tracks. When the subway pulls in, the doors stop right where the doors are on the barricade. The subway door opens, then the barricade door opens, and everyone's safe. But no, now we have another woman, 62 years of age, pushed onto the subway tracks.
On the tracks. Welcome to the noon, and Bianca Peters. That woman recovering in the hospital at this hour. Let's get right to Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini on the scene in Bushwick where this all went down. Stephanie, what's the latest on this?
Bianca, it happened here at this subway station over my shoulder just before 6 a.m. this morning. The NYPD responded to a call about someone hurt here at the Jefferson Street station. The victim, a 62-year-old woman, was injured, her foot swollen and cut. Police say a man pushed her onto the tracks after a dispute that started when he asked her for a lighter. Commuters helped the victim get off the tracks. She was taken to a nearby hospital. Now, police statistics show subway crime is down more than 5%.
Oh, I know our world has changed. Oh boy, do I know it. Liv, I know it. And it's hard. It's hard to deal with, especially when you know that it's purposeful. So I came across this hyper individuality. Any of you Gen Z or maybe millennial, do you understand that term? Because I've been hearing a lot of people talk about hyper individuality. hang on. Once again, okay, I'm really sorry. I don't know what is happening, but I suddenly felt like I didn't even swallow. It felt like something was, yeah, okay. Don't know what's going on, but it happened last night as well. Anyway, anybody hear that term? I couldn't talk, Liv. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of back. You know, and with everything that's going on, it is absolutely true. Well, if we had community, we wouldn't be living what we're living. But community, real friendship makes everything so much easier. And that seems to be shot. Do we need to change? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, but I'm going to play some of this video. A whole lot of people are recognizing there's something wrong here in America. And yes, a whole lot of countries live differently than we do. So, you know, do I wish that I had a trusting friend I could talk to? Absolutely. Would it make my life a lot easier? Absolutely. A whole lot of people are facing life where they're just completely alone. So let's listen to some of the young talk about it.
We live in an age of hyper-individuality that has permeated not only
each other when you don't need.
Want to tell me why that happens? It literally skipped 23 minutes. Okay, let's go try that again.
We live in an age of hyper-individuality that has permeated not only the manifestation community, but the spiritual community as well. There are two sides to individualism: self-sufficiency and isolation. Individualism is an ideology that has been really pushed on us in this modern era. The ability to continue surviving, and not only surviving, but living life without a community is not feasible, very feasible. Even from kindergarten class, we are taught several notions of being self-sufficient. And we're being taught these things to prepare us to move into a space where we are expected to continue without emotional and psychological resources outside of ourselves, especially spiritual resources.
Yes, good point. Good point. We're being moved into that space deliberately by the social engineers. Deaden the life of individuals. You know, have no emotions, be desensitized to all of the suffering. Don't lend a hand, don't help people, don't get close to people, just sit and stare at your phones. It is socially engineered, and we know that, and that's why we need to fight against it. But yes, no emotions, don't even think about it. Don't support, you know, don't be loyal, don't be trustworthy, don't Yeah, it's gotten really bad.
We've been raised to understand community as something that is optional, as opposed to something that as humans is needed. What does this have to do with healing and self-care? Well, this has really permeated all aspects of the spiritual community. People are so caught up in identifying and compartmentalizing what exactly is wrong with them. So focused on pinpointing and nitpicking everything that we have done wrong or developed to be wrong according to a certain spiritual litmus test or certain pinnacle that we have constructed or that we have seen others construct. And now we are under the notion that we are one stagnant thing working to become that thing by ourselves. That if you crave love from a partner, it's really something within you that you need to satiate, and that all love is within you and a projection of yourself, which while at its root is sort of you can.
And I can't tell you how many people throughout my life have told me, well, you just need to love yourself. You just need to love yourself. Really? Is that what I need? I don't need family. I don't need trustworthy friends. I don't need community. I just need to love myself. You can do it all alone. So wrong. I mean, it's like mind-boggling. The pursuit of self-love is the social engineers just creating an awful lot of people who are so self-centered. And then when they're hurting, they're afraid to talk to anyone. They're afraid, that they don't have, the kind of friendships that we need. We need social contact. We need social touch. We need the mirroring of friends. What a warped society that has manifested, only growing more and more and more warped throughout the years.
Still be a perfectly spiritually, emotionally, and physically healthy person and crave love, crave connection, crave community. And there's been this look of disdain towards people when they express their want for community. That is what partnership is. That is what wanting a family is. That is what wanting friends are. If somebody cannot develop for themselves, they are looked down upon because they are not self-sufficient, because they have not yet learned to be self-reliant. Well, we were never meant to be self-reliant in the first place. And so this leaves a lot of people isolated and not able to access community. And I just make this video to essentially say it is okay if you cannot do it all alone. Wanting help, that needing community, that needing somebody to lead you at times is normal. That desiring love, connection from another is normal. It is not indicative of something wrong with you. It is not indicative of a specific spiritual wound. People so often forget within the spiritual community that we are human. The human part of our human experience is integral, and we as humans are interconnected to each other and everything around us. And so don't let hyper individuality get sold to you. Don't convince yourself that you can do it all alone or that you were made to do it all alone. Even within the process of manifestation, time and time again, my desires have been realized through being connected with others. And I'm so glad for so much of us who are putting out information and knowledge for free. But yeah, you are not doing anything wrong if you feel isolated, if you feel yearning for community or for a partnership or for love. Desires are a part of life as we live them. They are nurtured. They're not something to be afraid of. It's not something to obsess over. You are constantly in the mode of becoming. You will never reach an ideal where you're like, yes, I got this. You will always have desires, hopes, and dreams, things you like, things that you don't like, things you want to improve as you live. But that is a part of it. There is no separate best version of you and you. It's all you. It's all you. But yeah, I'm waffling, so I'm done.
But we've helped one another in the social, and the social engineers have been, yes, look, they're all championing. Be alone. Just love yourself. All of the bullshit that people say, instead of recognizing that we are social creatures. We need one another. A whole lot of cultures, they just do it naturally. We don't do it here because our focus has been material success. And that's pretty much it. Again, I'm going to say we have spoken a whole lot. Oh, this is what I value. Watch how people operate in the world. You will see what they value. Money. We don't even know how to live life. We don't even know how to live life. Everybody is still trying to figure it out. It's sad. It's really sad. And, when I listen to, people from other cultures and what they have, I'm envious. I'm really envious. And here, let's
Come with me while I go get a coffee and we rant about how much I hate individuality or just individualism culture in America. Right here.
I'm not sure how they're using that term individuality. There is an individual and then the collective. And I don't mean the communist collective, you know what I mean. But everybody does have to develop their own self and get to a place of authenticity. So that's why I was asking if any of you heard this term, hyper individuality. That doesn't necessarily mean that they don't also recognize the need for community and friendship, and but maybe that's how far the social engineers have brought it to the younger generation, where they're just staring at their phones.
Welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. How can I help you? Hi, can I get a medium caramel iced coffee with oat milk, please?
A medium.
Yeah, with oat milk, please.
Oat milk? Okay, and?
That's it. Thank you. Dunkin' is the best when it tastes like cereal milk. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Okay, now on to the topic. So, what I mean by individualism culture is the dislike to actually interact like we're genuine human beings with our own lives and unique qualities and so on and so forth. And I'm about to get hit by a car if you don't walk faster, sir. I'm so sorry. Love you. Love ya. Anywho, so I mean, like, so I'm Colombian for backstory, and every time I go to a Colombian restaurant, like for example, it's just like a small reminder, I'm reminded of how much I'm so grateful to be Colombian, because everyone talks to you like they've known you your entire life. Mi amor, mi vida, mi entero corazón, ¿cómo estás, mi princesa, mi reina? I literally just met you 2 seconds ago. Thank you so much. I love you. But in everyday, or like when I'm in Colombia, it's the same exact thing. Everybody wants to talk to you. Like, there's piropeo. Like, of course, they're gonna fucking flirt with me in the street. Like, that's whatever. I don't mind it. But it's such a different energy and essence and everything versus in America, where everybody just wants to have a transactional conversation. They only want to talk to you to stop talking to you. Hi, welcome to whatever the fuck. How can I help you? Have a good day. Bye. And everything's like that. Like, it's so ironic because that's the same exact thing as drive-through. But nobody cares to have like an ongoing conversation or just like actually get to know about the people that you're interacting with. Like, we're all bots. We're bots, and I hate the bot culture here, and it makes me crave. I had not gone to Colombia in years, right? And I had the privilege to go to Colombia for a month last year in the summer. And it just brought me back to reality and made me realize how disconnected I had been from life, because I had been in the US for so long. I lived in Colombia for 2 years. Then I moved back to the US, but I was a baby. So I knew the differences then, but I didn't really understand them until now. And I don't know, I just want to bring back genuine interactions. And I know that starts with me, but it's so uncomfortable when like everybody hates it. Like, they'll try to have small talk. Oh, also, the death of small talk has been the death of me. And I used to be like, I don't like small talk. I want to, like, let's talk about aliens, when I was a fucking baby. but I developed this dislike and hatred for small talk, when in reality it is such an amazing thing to acquire. It's such a great skill to sharpen. And I don't know. Can you tell it makes me want to pull my hair out? Just like, I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm also just so stuck in what the culture is here. So of course I'm not going to make you uncomfortable if you don't want to talk, but maybe a little bit, you know, because it's good for the both of us. It's not just good for me, it's good for you too. I don't know. Thanks for yapping with me.
I think a lot of the young, especially, are really struggling. They're really struggling with the lack of connection, deep connection that brings about joy. Yeah. And when you don't have it, there's a real damaging loneliness that comes along with that. You know, if you don't have trustworthy friends, you're not going to feel comfortable anywhere. You're always going to be, you know, a little bit on edge. You know, if you have, you know, the need to talk about something and you don't have trustworthy friends, you're not calling people. That's why an awful lot of people end up in therapy. They pay someone to be their friend, to listen to them, because we don't have those kinds of relationships. Now, some people do. I'm not saying that everybody, no, but I am saying a whole lot of people are just really suffering from lack of connection, no one trustworthy in their life. Who can you call, you know, to get that kind of solace? It's so sad that this is what our country has come to. It is so unbelievably sad. And people who are of another culture, or they lived in other countries, they see the difference and they feel it.
Culture. It is an individualistic culture. It's a hustle culture. That's why when you go out to eat with your American friends, they're charging you for every fry that you shared, and they're Venmo requesting you for every penny. When I go out to eat with people who were raised with a different culture, we are never fighting about the bill. We're either fighting to pay for the whole thing or we just split it down the middle. It's a hot take, but this is also why I do not travel internationally with my American friends, because when I'm on vacation, I don't want to worry about what I owe you, what you owe me. Let's just charge it up and we'll split it even when we get home. And when we can't remember who paid for what, we'll just eat the cost. There's a reason why fighting to pay for the bill has lived on in Asian culture, even with newer generations like me, because money is a community thing. You share what you have with others. It's an honor to pay for someone else that you love and care about. Americans don't understand that. They're hyper fixated on what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Like, I've seen posts where American couples are asking people to pay to attend their wedding, or they're throwing parties for their friends and they're asking people to pay to attend. That's wild. In my Vietnamese and Mexican family, anytime someone has a wedding, we just give them money. The minimum is $100. I think that's also why some Americans don't understand this first gen need to give back to your families financially, to provide for them, because they have no concept of community wealth or sharing wealth. They don't feel like they owe their parents anything. They feel like they're successful because they worked hard and they don't think about their community or their privileges.
I don't think you guys understand that having the individualistic mindset only benefits the government.
Only benefits the government. Yeah. We need to learn, you know, to live life differently. You know, if you have friends, if you've got people who you consider to be friends, and you know that they're hurting and you never reach out and call, you're not a friend. And you're doing a real disservice to that person. If you've got family members who are really hurting and you do nothing about it, because you're pissed off at something that happened a year ago or whatever. You don't try to mend, if it's possible to mend, because we're so unbelievably, excuse my French, fucked up in this country that a whole lot, well, they don't even know how to resolve problems. A whole lot have to be right. They have to be right. Even when they're not, even when it's obvious that they are not right, they have that, yeah, I'm right. And that's it. Goodbye. Get out of here. Don't want to have anything to do with you. Or people who love to control. We've got so many issues from early on. Yeah, that past, that whole lot of people just go, oh, God, you're stuck in the past. They don't understand how powerful the past is in controlling their behavior until you take a look at it and resolve the issues that you had from the past. You're controlled by the past. So, yeah. Now when we see so many things just failing and, it's so in our face and we see Americans just ignoring it and not giving a shit and a whole lot of people hurting and the seniors going homeless, all of the abuse that's taking place in schools for the children, that can only come from a society filled with extremely, excuse my French, fucked up people. Yeah, we definitely have a place in this nightmare. We have a role in the nightmare. Individualistic mindset only benefits the government. Yes.
Like, it only benefits the government. It only benefits the government. Because there's a lot of people that believe in individualism and they only care about themselves and never as a collective, which is literally why the government loves you so fucking bad. And you're literally doing the work for them because they're already trying to keep us divided and things like that. And you just thinking very individualistically, if that's even a word, that only benefits the government because we are never going to progress as a society and there's never going to be like any global or impactful change if you only think individualistically and not collectively, because only as a collective can we see change. Only as a collective where like this is where we're going to see like global change, where we're going to see things actually change for real if a lot of us care enough about each other and about a global issue or about inequality or justice for all or whatever. But because a lot of you guys think that individualism is going to get you far in life, you guys are so stuck in your individualistic mindset that you do not care about things that don't directly impact you, even though a lot of things do directly impact you, but you guys are just like so uneducated, like literally so uneducated. It's actually like insane. And also on top of that, your humanity only applies when it directly impacts you, which is another joke. Which is why like I never understood the argument that a lot of like conservatives or Republicans or whatever you want to call them at this point, where they always say like, oh, like why should I be paying more taxes than like other people just because I have so much money? Like why should that even be a thing or whatever? Let's be fucking honest here. A lot of you guys are not rich. So why are you guys so worried about taxes when you're not even rich? You're not top 1%. I'm sorry. Somebody had to tell you, but like why are you so concerned about that? That's something that I never understood. Most of us are not rich like that. Like we're not top 0.5% or whatever to be so worried about that. Like the only people that are crying and are dying on top of a hill are like literally people that are the top 1%. But if you're not top 1%, why are you so worried about that? Like we're both broke at the end of the day. So why does it matter? And let me tell you guys that the only country I've ever seen individualism has been here in the US. Like when I think about like my motherland country and I think about Mexico and everything, they are built as a community. Like, oh, you're affected by something, we're both going to care about each other. Like, they're so community based. It's so weird. Like when my mom told me that when she moved here in the US, like she didn't have friends, like nobody really talked to each other. Everybody was focused on their own thing. And obviously part of it is capitalism, right? And like the fact that like also you have to basically work to literally live, which is like insane, and not live to work. And my mom would tell me like, I don't even know my next door neighbors, like I don't even know anything, like everything, because everybody's just so focused on themselves. Whereas when my mom was like in Mexico, everybody knew each other, everybody was always helping each other out. Life was just so much better and everybody was happier and everybody like knew each other and they were always helping each other and they were always like as a collective. Now when my mom said that she came here in the US, like everybody only cared about themselves and she thought that was weird. Like she thought that was so weird. She was like, so nobody talks to each other here, like what is going on? And obviously like as time went by, like I had to teach her like, you know, capitalism, individualism, like this is what it is here. It's pretty sad because in our country it's just not like that. And my mom like told me like, because individualism is such a big thing here, it's almost like people have this mindset where it's like, well, like, why should I care about this if it's not directly impacting me, right? And another thing is that, like, people are working so much all the fucking time that they only have time to care about themselves and they can never keep up. And this is like, oh, like, this is literally a whole different topic, but because people work so much, they only, like, have time to care about themselves and have to work. They can't even keep up with what's going on in the world and everything, which also keeps them an individualistic mindset. But sometimes that is on accident, because I'm talking about like the people that have the individualistic mindset by choice. There's people that have the individualistic mindset, but because they're working all the time, that they only have time to think about themselves. Those people I understand, because I know that you only have the individualistic mindset of like working to take care of your family, but I know internally you have the collective mindset. But because of your circumstances, you only have time to think about yourself. That I understand. But if you're an individualistic mindset by choice, that's a little no shade, no tea, but it's just like we're never going to progress as a society. And I understand that at the end of the day, you should only care about yourself and But also, when there are global things that we should care about, we should all unite as a collective and make change, because then when something does directly impact you, then you're going to start crying and be like, oh my gosh, I need help. Like, oh my gosh, guys, like this is what's happening in my country, or this is what's happening and this is how it's impacting me. And that is the only time you want to be a collective member of society. Like, what is wrong with y'all?
Don't forget to.
Yeah. So in listening, and I'll post the link because there's more people talking about, you know, exactly what she or the topic is. Now I have to. The link is in the chat. Yeah, it is. And a whole lot of that mindset and then the behaviors and how people operate in life that follow, it kills people. It tortures people. You know, it's not working, clearly. But she's absolutely right. There's no way that we will ever get anywhere when we're only concerned about ourselves. And that is pretty much the American way. So, no, you know, I'm glad that people are waking up. I'm glad that, you know, there are some topics that, you know, people are now concerned about. But with the way that we operate, no, nothing is going to be changing. And here we are, you know, just still dancing on the Titanic when an awful lot of people have already gone overboard. I wish we weren't the well-adjusted to a deeply disturbed society, because the well-adjusted actually believe that they're well-adjusted. I don't think anyone growing up in our American ways, our culture, can be well. I'm better than I was because I've done the work on myself. That continues to this day. But no, I don't see well people around me. There's something very, very, very wrong. So, and I wonder how many of you, do you think that you're just swell? Do you ever really think about, well, how do I operate? Am I just one of those who just doesn't care? And I won't, therefore, put in any effort to try to make some kind of community. I won't inconvenience myself too much when it comes to helping those in my community or friends or family. We've all grown up here. So, yeah. And some, well, are sicker than others. Some had an awful lot of baggage put on their road to adulthood that they have to work out. And some were lucky enough to be born into, loving families. And yeah, everybody still has their issues, but our focus has been material success, money, money, money. Not on the things that really bring joy to one's life. Being a trustworthy soul and, keeping your word, living honestly and speaking honestly, and getting out of yourself to recognize that there are other people in the world. And yes, you take care of yourself, you take care of your family, and then it doesn't stop there. It goes into the community. How did we become these people when we thought we were so exceptional and morally superior? Aren't these things that we need to be thinking about? The Great Awakening is not just learning, oh my God, look, our governments are corrupt and they're destroying us. They call it the Great Awakening because it's great. But we have to awaken to our own self. Make the necessary changes so that we can manifest something better. And on that note, I say thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. Stay safe. Be aware of your surroundings. And yeah, be the change you want to see. All righty. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.